I was talking with Alyssa Epple, and so her co-author of The Telomere Effect, Dr. Elizabeth Blackburn, she won the Nobel Prize for the discovery of telomerase. And so telomeres...
You need them to be longer for you to have a longer life.
Telomerase is an enzyme that can add length back onto your telomeres, essentially reversing the aging process. Essentially, it's very complicated, but just as essential. But what shortens your telomeres faster than anything, apparently, is sleep deprivation.
So if you're pulling all-nighters, you're doing 4 hours of sleep only, and you think that's cool, it's not cool.
It's not cool. You're accelerating the time that you're going to kick on.
You're going to die quicker.
Diabetes, heart disease. We used to see this stuff in folks who we describe as, quote, in the elderly population, arthritis. Then it started to happen generations younger and younger and younger. Now we even have children who are getting adult onset diabetes. We had to change the name to a type 2 diabetes, right? Because it's no longer just adults getting it, right? And so just to make that clear, and I know this from experience because this happened to me. I had basically arthritis of the spine when I was 20, right? In track practice in St. Louis, I was doing a 200-meter time trial and I broke my hip from running because my body, I accelerated the aging process so much.
Really?
Because of the way I was living my life.
You weren't sleeping well?
Nothing was well, but a big part of me is, for me, is like, what are you making your body out of? Which we know we get into and talk about another time, but you know, if you're not giving your body the raw materials to build your house, your physical house, it's just gonna do a patchwork job.
Get back to the, what should we eat before sleep, if anything, and when should we finish eating before we go to sleep?
So with food, there's contradicting information out there on this, you know, and so some of the best data shows that having a little bit of carbohydrates for your evening meal, for your dinner. So I'm not saying like eat a chocodile and then go to bed. I'm saying like, you know, if you have dinner at 7, 8 o'clock, having a little whack of carbohydrates, it helps to produce serotonin.
What are the best carbohydrates? Like sweet potato?
Well, you just mentioned it, sweet potato. I mean, you know, vegetables are carbohydrate dominant foods, but you know, a little bit denser, you know, so we could say sweet potatoes, there's quinoa. When we get into these things, everybody's different. Okay, we could do a whole show talking on this. You know, there's like saponins in, you know, the quinoa that might be trouble for some people. It could be white rice, brown rice. It could be, you know, a little pasta. You know, it depends on the person. There's different kinds of pasta now. You know what I'm saying? There's like
cauliflower pasta.
They make pasta out of everything. You know?
Zucchini pasta.
Right, zucchini pasta. I think I saw like there's some coffee pasta. I don't know, man. I'm just kidding. That would be crazy though.
Pasta, Okay, so you can have a little bit of carbohydrates for your meal.
Fruit is another, obviously, carbohydrate dominant category of foods.
So what will that do for you?
So this causes a boost in serotonin when we have a little bit of carbohydrates. And so I know there's a big keto movement, which again is a wonderful framework. I use all these different frameworks in my nutrition practice as a consultant and as a nutritionist for, again, you know, almost 20 years now I've been in this field. But and I would base it on what the person needed, right? And it's always dependent on you and where you are right now, which might change. And so when we're getting in the conversation about keto, you could even have a certain percentage of carbohydrates on the keto. You might even just reserve those for your evening meal.
Really?
Right? And so beans could be another one, you know, depending on your digestion, how the beans are prepared. And so with that said, so serotonin, here's what's so cool about it. Serotonin is a precursor to making melatonin, right? So your body produces this kind of glorified sleep hormone. But man, when we talked earlier about how our body is lined up with nature, and how our body is secreting hormones on a pattern or cycles, melatonin is arguably the biggest controller of your body's metabolic or circadian rhythm, your circadian clock that's determining when you're producing all your hormones. Melatonin is not just about sleep, it's about regulating your whole body.
That's why there's so many supplements coming out, melatonin supplements that are doing so well, right?
Yeah, but you gotta be careful. Like that's straight up hormone therapy. You know what I mean? It's such a big regulator and controller. And you know, just talking with the bosses in this space, you know, talking with Dr. Oz and Dr. Michael Bruce and all these guys, and we're having these conversations, we've seen clearly that folks that get dependent taking too high of a dose or taking melatonin too frequently, and here's what we thought. It was just a hypothesis. We thought that like some other type of, like taking exogenous testosterone, it might reduce your body's production. It doesn't reduce your body's production of melatonin, which we got to come back to where this is happening. But what it does is it depresses or shuts down your body's receptor sites for melatonin. So you still make it, but your cells' receptor sites can't
Receive it.
engage and receive it and turn on the sleep-related processes and everything else.
Okay.
Problem, right?
Yeah.
The great thing is that we do have access to these supplements, which is wonderful. I'm a big fan of using them in micro doses, and or even more so for me would be in spot cases, right? Just use them
I'm
temporarily.
deficient of something, B12 or whatever. It's like, take this for a few months until you feel like you're caught to speed.
Our sleep is so important with so many things, and so if you just need to get on track, but we just don't want to create a dependency. I love it for travel. Like if you're changing time zones, you want to get back on schedule. If you've had a couple rough nights of sleep, you know, maybe it's work or whatever, that's a great
Probiotic
spot.
or something, yeah, whatever. Okay.
So melatonin has its place, but just to go back to where this is produced and why even taking a supplement you still continue to produce is that, and this is crazy because in my conventional university class, I was taught that your pineal gland produces melatonin, that's it. We now know today that there's 400 times more melatonin in your gut, in your belly, than in your brain. All right, so this microbiome, all this science and all of this discussion happening now, it really is the final frontier when we're talking about health. It's the interface between the outside world and us. You know, it's like what we're taking and putting in our bodies, that's the most intimate experience in the world. And what's happening in your microbiome determine what becomes you and what is waste.
So what would you say is the optimal evening routine, or the one that you do?
Yeah, that's a great question, man. Great question. It's evolved, you know what I mean? And that's what I want people to take away too, is that you can change. There's so much cool stuff that we can do today. You know, you got meditation, you got journaling, you got, you know, Tai Chi, you know what I'm saying? There's all this stuff you could do, you know, playing board games. There's that cool, have you played the Heads Up?
Oh yeah, it's great.
Right,
It's
you
great.
know? So you've got all these cool things you could do to hang out with your friends, you know, spend time with your significant other. How do we fit it all in? Well, you don't have to do everything, or you can do each thing in a micro way. But so for me, my current evening routine is, number one, just kind of the hallmark thing for me is giving myself some tech-free time before I go to bed, before I lay my head down. At least 30 minutes.
Yeah.
We all can do this. And Harvard researchers have confirmed, I talked about this, and I've pushed this in the culture like the last 5 years hard. So if people have heard this, you know where it came from, all right? I've been really working to get this out here. And we've got them right here, man. We got the new iPhone. It's got 3 cameras.
Sick, dude.
It's fun to play
It's amazing.
with, right? But this device is the greatest deterrent for our sleep quality today.
So
you know?
bad.
And so Harvard researchers confirmed that the light exposure, blue light specifically, and white light, that kind of shoot out from our devices that we can't really see if we're sitting here and there's this light around us, this ambient light. But if you're in a dark room and you see that phone,
Right.
it's like emanating like this bluish alien light, right? And so what they found was that this light does in fact suppress your melatonin secretion and dramatically increases cortisol. And they got numbers on this. So what they found is that approximately every 30 minutes you're on your device at night, you suppress melatonin. I'm sorry, I said it wrong. Every hour you're on your device at night, you suppress melatonin for 30 minutes.
Oh.
All right? Every hour you're on your device, you suppress melatonin for 30 minutes. So if you're on your device 3 hours, melatonin suppressed for 90 minutes.
Wow.
Right? And so again, even though you might be unconscious and go to bed, and you're not aware anymore, you're not going through your sleep cycles efficiently. So that's what it's really about, is optimizing our sleep cycles.
Yeah.
And we do that with the way we live our lives. And so just to go back on that point with me, just
So you have
30 minutes.
at least, no phone.
Yeah, at least. Ideally, we want to see more like 60 minutes, you know,
60,
if possible.
90.
Yeah, I mean, then we're like,
That's like ninja
we get
level.
into that place of like, what do I do though?
You read a book, you hang out with your friends, you go to
But
bed.
Some people just aren't trying to hear that, man. You know what I mean?
So that's no phone and no TV?
yeah.
So no, you can't watch your show or your movie, you
But
can't.
here's a couple of hacks, and I'm sure a
put the
lot of people know
glasses
this.
on,
You got the blue light blocking glasses.
Yeah.
You've got blue light blocking apps for your phone. Like it's built into the iPhone now. You know, and folks who have an Android, they have like night shift. I'm sorry, what's it called? Twilight.
Yeah.
Is another thing. I believe that's what it's called.
Okay.
You know,
So there's some things you can do.
Yeah, so there's things that you can do to kind of reduce that experience. And for many folks, and I know myself included, I definitely do feel like sometimes even it's a neuroassociation, just putting putting the glasses on, excuse me, I would get sleepy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Just by
You start
putting the
to feel
glasses
it,
on.
like, okay,
yeah, chilling out.
Yeah.
Or we can also, you know, dim the lights around us. You know, maybe even change some bulbs, a couple of bulbs in your house. Candlelight, that's sexy. You know what I'm saying? So you just change, and then we evolve with those kinds of lights in the evening, those tones, right? These kind of warmer colors. And so that's what I do. I give myself a 30-minute curfew, and I really love to just kind of take some time, hang out with my wife, we'll talk, you know, I'll do some reading. This is when I, you know, but we, again, like it's a light dimmer.
Yeah.
Light's a little bit dimmer. I'll do at least probably 10 minutes of reading, 20 minutes sometimes, if we're not, you know, spending some time together, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we have that, and then for me, I love if I get a chance to do a magnesium bath in the evening. So this is a big one, man. So magnesium has been found to be responsible for over 650 biochemical processes in the body. Many of them related to relaxation and sleep. All right, so magnesium is needed to, like, contraction and relaxation of your muscles. So the relaxation response of your muscles, like if somebody's cramping, that kind of thing, magnesium helps a lot.
Oh, okay.
Right? So, but also it relaxes your nervous system. So it helps to shift over from your sympathetic fight or flight nervous system. Magnesium helps to shift you into the parasympathetic rest and digest part of your nervous system.
Yeah.
And so people have been doing this for centuries. Like Epsom salt baths has helped to improve sleep and relax sore muscles, help you to heal faster, all that stuff. It has some credence. Now we got some like supercharged magnesium salts and—
Really? So you do this almost every night?
No, a couple times a week, you know what I'm saying? But
Even once a week would be good.
yeah, what I have also, I have the topical magnesium spray.
Wow.
So I use that almost every night. So I'll just like massage, rub that in. And that's another thing that you could do too, get a massage. All right, if you can.
Before sleep?
From your significant other, or self-massage. You know, there's even acupressure points, and I talk about this in Sleep Smarter, because I'm very analytical in how I think. I'm like, you could like touch a point and, you know, but there is some evidence that this, you know, they did this in a clinic. I'm sorry, in a hospital. And so what they did was manipulate this acupressure point, and they saw higher levels of melatonin metabolites in their urine by manipulating this pressure point. So it's doing something with melatonin.
Right.
So, but with massage, you produce endorphins, serotonin, right? So this all helps with that relaxation response. I don't know anybody that's ever gotten a massage and like gotten up, it's like, I'm so ready to fight now. You know what I mean? Like,
right. You just want to chill for another few hours. Yeah.
That's it, man.
Okay.
You know? So if I can, you know, my wife, like I'll massage her feet, or if she wants to massage my feet, that's so great, man, by the way. Or I got like a little tennis ball, and I'll just like put that on the floor and rub that around on my feet, you know, bottom of my feet. So there's another couple things. And so some of these things are not as consistent. Consistent things for me is screen curfew, reading, time with my wife, and magnesium.